49ers update here from Levi's. You can see that the field is being painted, not quite done, but they're getting ready for 49ers Bucs on Sunday. Second year 49ers offensive lineman Nick Zakel's season is over. He was in on reserve duty, garbage time duty against Jacksonville, and he suffered a slight biceps tear. And Kyle Shanahan said that the doctors evaluated it and said it's only going to get worse if he continues to try to play through that pain. So Zakelj is going to undergo surgery. He's done for the year. The 49ers are going to have an open 53-man roster spot. They're essentially using this week of practice as an audition to see who can fill that 53-man spot, probably from the practice squad. Corey Luciano is a center out of Danville, East Bay, rookie who has obviously impressed the 49ers to stay in the building for this long. And Il Manning is a player who the 49ers really like. Unfortunately, they did lose him to Arizona for a few weeks, but then Arizona had to cut Il Manning, and he's now back with the 49ers practice squad. So Il Manning, the tackle out of Hawaii, who now is officially a guard, even though he played well at tackle over the course of the preseason. He's an interior lineman, very, very athletic, who the 49ers might promote to the 53-man roster to take Nick Zakel's spot. We're going to see how practice goes this week. You might know Nick Zakelj as Brock Purdy's roommate. Remember the Christmas card from last year that Brock Purdy, Nick Zakelj, and Alfredo Gutierrez put out? Well, Brock Purdy and Nick Zakelj moved into a new apartment this year, so no more Alfredo Gutierrez as one of their roommates, but obviously Purdy and Zakelj still good friends. And unfortunately, it is Zakelj going down with a season-ending injury, although he obviously wasn't playing much on game day for the 49ers. So, the 49ers had been happy with Nick Zakelj's progress physically from year 1 to year 2. He's a lineman out of Fordham University in the Bronx. Cleveland area high school, Fordham University in the Bronx. He's a player who has improved a lot in a short amount of time at every single step of his football career. So, high school football wasn't very good early on, earned himself a right to play in college at Fordham. They said that he was terrible early on, ended up earning himself a draft pick in the NFL. 6th-round draft pick went to Nick Zakelj from the 49ers last season in the Brock Purdy draft, and then he became roommates with Brock Purdy. So, we'll see how that recovery goes. The 49ers obviously looked at Zakelj as a potential long-term option at center. They loved how he was able to take people over mentally in college, and they had started giving him some center reps over the course of training camp and in the preseason. But anytime you play center in the NFL, you also have to be able to play the guard positions. You have to be able to contribute on the interior line, and unless you're a veteran center who's a star who totally specializes at that position, you've got to be able to play a bevy of positions. And I do think that the 49ers were developing Nick Zakelj for a general spot along the interior, but with an eye out for his ability to play center. And they're still developing him for that. He's still got 2 years of his rookie contract left after this, so he just has to heal up from that biceps tear. Otherwise, out of practice, Colton McKivitz. I know that he was day-to-day the other day after he got rolled up on ankle and knee. He's back out there. I think he's moving well. McKivitz is technically limited at practice, but I think the fact that he's out there and he's moving well suggests that it's very likely that he's going to play Sunday against Tampa Bay. From the locker room today, Nick Bosa says that he and Baker Mayfield have buried the hatchet. Remember the big flag planting antics from Nick Bosa in 2019 when Mayfield was with the Cleveland Browns? That was vengeance for Baker Mayfield the year earlier at Oklahoma, when he was playing for Oklahoma at Ohio State, planting that Oklahoma flag after the Sooners win on the middle of Ohio State's field. Well, Bosa got his revenge in 2019, taunted Baker Mayfield a bit on the field in 2019, but he says that's over. He says that he met Baker Mayfield at the Waste Management Open, the golf tournament down in the Phoenix area this offseason, and Bosa said that he is nice. I also talked to Chase Young about it. I asked Chase. Chase was actually in college still back at Ohio State in 2019 because he was a year behind Bosa. So Chase Young saw Bosa on Monday Night Football get his revenge for Ohio State against Baker Mayfield. And Chase just smiled today when I asked him about it because I wanted to know what the Ohio State reaction was back then. And Chase said, if you're going to chirp, you better be ready for some chirping to come back at you. So Obviously, Ohio State, Chase Young approved of it. And I'm sure that Nick Bosa and Chase Young are going to have fun as bookending rushers against Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay this week, especially given the fact that Tampa Bay's offensive line hasn't been very good this year, especially against the run. So it should give the 49ers some pass rushing opportunities. But at the end of the day, I think that drama is probably mostly in the past. Maybe there's a fun word or two exchanged on the field, but 2019 was just a different level of Ohio State, Oklahoma taunting out on the football field. A rookie, Nick Bosa, might have been a little feistier with his words. Now he's a veteran. Now he's just out there. He's doing his job. He is the NFC's Defensive Player of the Week after that performance against Jacksonville. So Nick Bosa playing well. Both he and Chase Young are in the top 10 of the NFL rankings for edge rushers in pass rushing productivity. And I expect those rankings, as long as those two guys stay healthy and available, I expect them to stay ranked very high in those tallies, because it's tough to chip both of them, right? It's tough to dedicate extra attention to Nick Bosa and extra attention to Chase Young at the same time. And that's why this duo plays off of each other, and that's why I anticipate them on this field on Sunday to continue playing off of each other. Now, Brock Purdy, for the first time that I can remember today, out at practice, was wearing the hoodie under the jersey. As you can tell, a little storm system passing through the Bay Area. There's been drops of rain throughout the day. They expect it to be a little bit more rain in a bit. So it's not great weather in the Bay Area. It's in the 60s, but it's a little bit cooler and it's definitely windier. Is that going to affect the game on Sunday? Well, they're expecting 67 and sunny by this weekend. And the game is obviously not until the latter half of the weekend. So I think the conditions are going to be better out on this field than they are right now. The wind is definitely swirling a bit. The planes are flying overhead. This is unusual. They normally don't land into San Jose over Levi Stadium. They take off over Levi Stadium. But because of the storm system, you see this happen during storm systems, I guess the wind patterns are inverted, so planes are now landing here over Levi's instead of taking off over the stadium. 49ers are 11-point favorites over Tampa Bay. Today, Kyle Shanahan, in his press conference, said that he respected how well Tampa Bay does defend the run, though, and that leads into good red zone defense. Good red zone defense means good running defense means good red zone defense, because if you can't run in the red zone, well, the pass windows are inherently tighter just because there is less space to work with. That was Kyle Shanahan's main gist as he talked today. He also had a profound quote. Somebody asked him about how he watches the game on the sideline. Said a couple of things, actually. One, I mean, he was watching the Brock Purdy touchdown pass to George Kittle, and obviously he couldn't see Purdy because Purdy was there, you know, crunched up against the line. Shanahan said it looked like somebody was throwing a grenade out of a bunker. Awfully accurate grenade throw from grenade chuck, I guess we should say, from Brock Purdy to George Kittle. And then, you know, as an extension to that, Shanahan was asked about what he watches out on the field, and he said that if you're watching the ball, you don't know what's going on the field. Because there's so much else happening as a coach, right? You have to be able to see the big picture. So watching the ball, the only thing that you know going on is where the ball's going, but you don't know how the game is actually developing. So that's just a little message to people who casually post like they know everything about football online. They're probably just watching the ball. You know, if you can actually watch the whole field of play and have a smart take with everything taken into account, okay, can take you seriously. But Kyle Shanahan certainly can't take you seriously if you're just watching the ball. All right, time for me to head inside. It's probably going to start raining here in a little bit. Actually, as I said that, a few drops started falling down here at Levi Stadium. Time to head back to San Francisco. We'll talk to you very soon.